All right, now, the day a lot of Nigerians have been waiting for has come. President Bola Tinubu is set to scrap several agencies, commissions, and departments of government as he implements the Oronsaye Report. Now, these hold a new beginning as the implementation creates room for merging, subsumming, and relocation of several agencies of government. Agencies that may be affected include the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, the Independent Corrupt Practices Commission, that's ICPC, that's Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, and the Federal Road Safety Commission. Additionally, the implementation may result in the abolition of 38 agencies, the measure of 52, and the reversion of 14 departments in ministries. Now, this new development will result, this new development is purported to result in loss of jobs for no fewer than 102 heads of agencies and parastatals and also members of staff. But the government has come out to say, no, nobody will lose their jobs. Oh well, the days are upon us. We will see if how government intends to curb job losses, because job losses at this time definitely isn't what any Nigerian would be looking forward to. Well, we have with us in the studio Mr. Lawale Kundayo, who is an educationist and also a public affairs commentator, and he always loves that you add the fact that he's a farmer to his portfolio. So yes, I will add that one to he's a proud farmer. And we have joining us all the way from Kano, virtually of course, Barrister Bashir Badru. Welcome to the conversation if you've joined us virtually already. Barrister, oh yes, good morning to you, Barrister. Now, this...
Good morning, how are you?
Very well, thank you. Now, this is a lot of Nigerians have talked about the implementation of this report, the Oronsaye Report. The previous administrations, Goodluck administration raised a white paper on it, and Nigerians felt, okay, will anything happen after that? Nothing happened. That was in 2014. Now, in 2022, the Mohammed Buhari's administration also looked into it, raised a white paper, and Nigerians felt, okay, maybe now something will be done as cost of governance will be reduced, but nothing was done. Now, this administration, without maybe looking into the white papers raised earlier, have decided to implement some sections of that report. First off, what's your take on this? And then secondly, how do you think job losses will be curtailed?
All right. Good morning, Nigerians, and good morning, everyone. You see, somebody, somewhere, we just have to build the cat. We have delayed some of these instruments a long time. And if we want to set things right, like we have always proposed, we like good things. Nigerians will always love beautiful things. But are they ready? Are Nigerians really ready to actualize, to get to how these beautiful things become theirs? No, we're not. We have not always shown the seriousness, the readiness, the willpower to get to where we dream of getting to. This is one of our banes. And unfortunately, past administrations have also yielded to agitations. No, NLC today will be walking on the streets in protest against the hardship in the country. Yes, everybody feels the pain. And this is the first time in the history of this country when the rich also cry. So now it has come to everybody's door. It has become something very necessary. At the beginning, everybody was opposed to the removal of fuels subsidy. And everybody was like, why should they at this critical time? And if you listen carefully, if you are a follower of events, you will also see that virtually everyone who has come to tell this country, I'm ready to govern Nigeria, also have proposed that we must remove the subsidy. Because, in fact, some people called it a scam. And some others say, no, it has overstayed its usefulness. So if first subsidy remover has brought us to this level, then what are other things? What are things that we should do to augment the pains?
We're not exactly focusing on the removal of subsidy now. We're looking at...
I understand.
Okay.
I understand perfectly. I'm actually coming to this report.
Okay.
If this report had been implemented in 2014 when it was gazetted, if this report has been implemented in 2022 when it was again brought back, then we won't be where we are today. Just recently,
Go ahead, please.
Are with you?
Go ahead, please. Go ahead.
Just recently, there is a proposal from the federal government on relocating some offices of the CBN back to Lagos, where the actual functionality resides. But what do? People started wagging tongues and begin to ascribe this to ethnic disparities. This is Nigeria, unfortunately. But a serious leader will eventually take to what is necessary to get things done. So, looking at the report, I have read the report. I mean, the gazetted report, especially the one that was published in 2014, which is the white paper on the presidential committee on what do you call it, restructuring and rationalization. Yes, okay. That's the word used. The restructuring and rationalization of federal government parastatals, commissions, and agencies. Now, it is just a 103-page document, and it is segmented into two parts, part 1 and part 2. Part 2 is largely tabulated, and you see the tables. Most of these proposals, most of these proposals were rejected even by the government that constituted this committee. The Jonathan government rejected most of these proposals.
Why?
So most of the things everybody is agitating, they are going to collapse this, they are going to collapse that, and they are going to do this, they are going to do that.
The question now is, why would the previous administration reject? What were they afraid of? Because let me put this in perspective, all right? Some agencies that will be scrapped. Now, these agencies have people working there. Now, agencies that will be scrapped are Pension Transitional Arrangement Directorate. We also have, so the Pension Transitional Arrangement Directorate to be scrapped and functions transferred to the Federal Ministry of Finance. We also have National Senior Secondary Education Commission, NSSEC, to be scrapped, and its functions will be transferred to the Department of Basic and Secondary Education in Federal Ministry of Education. We also have some agencies that will be merged. Now, what was the fear of previous administrations in implementing the Oronsaye Report? That's what I'm going to.
I may just make a guess. I may not, because I do not belong to that administration.
Absolutely.
I do not belong to a policy maker. So I may just make a guess of what may be their fear. You see, sometimes when you do not have sufficient resources to implement a policy, you nurse a fear of what will be the public reaction to this policy. But if you have an enormous idea, a robust idea of accommodating this your fear, then that fear wouldn't be there. Now, let me break it down. When you merge agencies or even commissions or even parastatals, it is easy. those ones that are scrapped becomes department under the new one, and no job is lost. Okay. You only need to expand rising. So now the new department accommodating, or the new agency accommodating these departments that have been scrapped will have more work to do on their supervision, because this old parastatal is been on its own before now. Now it has to come under a particular ministry or a particular agency. So their fear was, because of poor ideas, felt that people will be laid off. Those who are not necessarily useful to that organization should go back home. It's simple.
Is it really going to be that easy?
Well, ultimately, so it comes back to yes. Some people will have
if you run a company, you inherited a very poor company, for instance, and what do you do in the first place? In the first place, you come to the round table with the staff of this company and ask, how do we move forward from here? You will have seen some people that are just clogs in the wheel of that company. They are so useless. But because they have overstayed, it's like there are so many houses that I manage on behalf of clients, and you get there, you find some tenants who have been there for 30 years. They have become more, in fact, they are stronger than the landlord. So there is nothing the landlord can do except he brings a foreign body to come and deal with these guys. So you have to respond to these issues. I became a head of chamber somewhere, and I inherited a very bad arrangement. First thing I did was set a timetable. This is how we go to court. This is how we respond to issues today. And we assigned files. And one of the lawyers said, no, I've been handling this particular file and I can't leave it. I said, did you bring it from home? She said, no. I said, if you are not leaving that file, then you are leaving this office. It's as simple as that. So let us be ready to face the reality. We cannot continue to window dress and expect things to change. Nothing will change.
Okay. But looking at the structure of the civil service arrangement, we know that level 16 will be the people that they call the director and all that. Now, don't you think merging these commissions actually will bring conflict of interest, whereby a director will not want to go down to, you know, another level, or maybe being a deputy or something below that?
You see,
because they've already said
whether it goes down or it goes up, who pays his salary? Does he pay himself? Has that arrangement changed anything? See, we over-celebrate things that are irrelevant. Who knows you to be a director when you are not even productive? So you need, the government actually needs to up its game. The truth is, where I work presently, you will see that our fear is these students, these cadets, officers that we are producing today, where would they be tomorrow? Where are the offices for them? So what we are proposing to the authority is, please create more offices to accommodate these officers that will be graduating in the next few years, because we will begin to have them in surplus. And if offices are not available, they will be redundant. And will be paying salary. And it is going to be useless.
All right, so let's come to our studio guest now, Lawale Kundayo. Now, this administration seems to be taking the bull by the horn, doing everything that administrations before it were too afraid to do. First, fuel subsidy was taken off, boom, and Nigerians are feeling the bite of it.
And it was implemented immediately.
All other administration were like, let's remove subsidy, but then I won't be the one to remove it. Now, the Oronsaye Report of 2012 looks like it's going to be implemented. Boom. And of course, there will be concomitant effects. How do you react to this?
Actually, I think some of these agencies, we get it, were created along the line to accommodate some politicians, You get it?
You think so?
Yes, they were created because each one will have a political head. You get, each agency will have a political head. So now that they want to scrap some of them, those political heads, because like they'll now start sharing it, now feel like they are going to lose their appointment, or I will not get into these areas, I will not get to that area. So when something wants to be done, you get it, they begin to do some political maneuvering underground, so that eventually, if those who did not want it to go because of their own maybe personal reasons, have upper hand, then the president's hands may be tight at that moment.
Could it be the reason, when 2022, when Boss Mustafa and Ebere Okeke were reviewing the white paper, she made mention of some of the commissions being the product of the bills passed by the House Assembly. Could that be the reason they did not actually specify the legal framework on the structure of what the agencies?
See, that's why I said, you get it, that they created some of these things to accommodate some politicians, just to settle them. So when you look at it, even when you go to the House, because that's why you see, at a point, the former Senate president during the past administration, Buhari, said that anything he presents, we are going to approve it. Do you remember he said that? He said anything he presents, we are going to approve it. So you now see that because up to now, people were complaining that the House, the reps are compromised. How can a rep run to the president each time you elect your leader? There's supposed to be separation of powers. So if there's no separation of powers, there will be compromisation. And when there's compromisation, there will be problem in those areas. That's why they now create constitution to back them up. But when you look at that constitution, see that you see functions being repeated in the constitution. That's why they are saying that they have to involve the House, so that the House can do amendment in the constitution, so that it's not like they are doing something that is unconstitutional.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
All right. So, okay. Moving on, I want to ask Dr. Bashir with this question, because he seems like he's saying that this is a step in the right direction. But then, the report said that if between 2012 to 2015, that if that report was implemented, that it was going to save Nigeria 862 billion naira. Seeing how Nigeria is right now, do you think that scrapping and merging of all these agencies will reduce drastically federal government's spending and cost of governance? Now, we know very well what happened when we had the House of Reps said, oh, they wanted to get a cars of 160 million, and then a lot of things, having the wife of the president, getting the wife of the president, I think cars or something, a lot of things.
Even building a house of now.
And do you think that this really will actually reduce the money being spent on cost of governance?
Okay. Let me take on that question from the perspective of the removal of fuel subsidy. The federal allocation that is being distributed every month prior to removal of fuel subsidy, has it increased or reduced? You will see it as increased. Yes. If this report has been implemented, way back in 2012 or 2014, we would have seen a stabilized economy to some extent before the turnout of events that destroyed everything that we are seeing.
Sorry to butt in here. Yeah. Yes, FAC allocation has increased to states, but then states, the people, the indigents of some of these states are still complaining. It's not, they don't feel relieved in any way.
Yes.
So how beneficial has that been truly?
Of course, they will complain. Why? Because we have no mechanism that makes us to hold these governors of states responsible. We have nothing. So I want to tell you that let's start with the public service. And as soon as we are able to deal with the backlog in the public service, the rep and the senate should get set, because it is coming to them.
So why not start
It is
from
about-
them?
Why not start from
do
the
we have to
lawmakers?
start from Nigerians, from let's say in
The
quotes,
civil servants.
the civil servants? Why not start from them? I mean, we have more ministers than we possibly have ever had before.
Thank you.
So why not start
Because
from them?
Thank you. You see, these people you are looking at, the ministers, the rep members, the senate members, are politicians. They are political appointees, the elected members. They have little time, very few. 4 years or 8 years maximum. Now, these public servants run things. Ask everybody anywhere. Even when a minister is brought, the first person to tell him what to do is the PS. The PS will sit down and say, boss, this is how we run things. And, this is a meeting that will be held behind closed doors. And he comes out and begins to flip around like he's the boss. Actually, the real boss is the PS. So if we do not start from these individuals, these are the people who will be in the government, who will be in the public service for at least 35 years. Look at it. How many governments, how many politicians they will have consumed in their years of service? The experience is there. They know the nitty-gritty. If we do not start dealing with that, then we won't get anywhere. We won't get anywhere.
All right, then let me come to Lawal again. Lawal, some have called this a policy somersault because back in the day, agencies like the Voice of Nigeria and Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria were together. They were merged. Somewhere down the line, an administration came and separated them, and now they are trying to merge them again, because Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria and Voice of Nigeria will be merged under this implementation of the Oronsaye Report. Isn't this a policy somersault? Or is that even allowed? Is that something that one should applaud?
See, when you do something like these agencies were created, the question is, why were they created? Now you want to merge them. Why do you want to merge them? You say these are the questions that we fail to answer. We are interested in money. You see, when I hear that to save the government money, I didn't like that merger or whatever.
Okay.
Because the reason why you are doing it is to save money. But the question is, what were those agencies actually, created to do a certain thing? So if they are obsolete, they will know. So let us know which one of them are obsolete. For example, the one of VOA, why was it created in the first place? I mean, VON, it was separated. Now, we have FROSC, you have a VIO. Why do you have FROSC and you have VIO? The question is, why were they separated? Why were they created? If VIO is doing the function of FROSC, it is good. But if you are saying because you want to scrap VIO, because you want to scrap it to save money.
Okay, so your grounds here is the ideology behind the
yes, it's what we should be looking at, not the money to be saved. Because like she said earlier, which I saw as a very good thing, that when you save all this money, does it actually bring positive development to the country? You save money on subsidy, and yet we still have the problem. So people, that's why I clarify it to people every now and then, that the reason why the subsidy was created in the first place, to solve a problem. Did you solve that problem to make the subsidy obsolete? Is the subsidy obsolete? It's not obsolete. It's still very, very relevant in Nigerian system, because the reason why it was created has not been solved. The problem why the subsidy was created has not been. So why do you now say the subsidy is removed? So if you are now trying to merge the agency, are you merging them to save money, or you are merging them because they are obsolete? You get it?
Function.
So let us look at those who are obsolete, and let's look at those you are merging to save money. The humanitarian ministry of humanitarian, we all know that that ministry is there to take care of some politicians. That is why nothing good is coming out of that ministry. It could have been scrapped to be under Ministry of Interior, because it's an interior business. But you separated it because of some reason. That's why we see money being lost in that area. The same thing is happening in Lagos, where you have Ministry of Special Duty. You have already done, you have shared all the ministries, and there's nothing to share again. You now create a Ministry of Special Duty. So we now say that that ministry has no serious functions. You get it?
Okay.
So the same thing we have in many of this area. So what we want to look at, what I am after, is what are the modalities for the creation of this. So when you are putting your white paper down, you have to tell Nigerians the reason why these agencies were created in the first place, and the ministries, and the reason, each one of them, and the reason why you think they are obsolete, before you now begin to tell us.
I don't think it's about being obsolete. I think it's about duplicity of
and that's being that means that it's functionless. Because if you are doing the same thing, somebody will have to, if you put a task down, and two of us have to do the same task, somebody will have to be redundant. So the redundant person is obsolete, of course, because that means it's not relevant. You get? So if that is the reason, fine. But if you are telling us you are scrapping it because to save money, then that is not a good reason. You get what I'm saying? It's not a good reason. Right. So let us know those who tell us why these agencies were created.
Okay.
Or ministries. Tell us why you think that ministry, outline to us why you think that ministry should be scrapped. Then before you now begin to tell us what we are going to gain from it. Don't just tell us we are saving 180 billion, we are saving 100 trillion, we are saving this. That is not the reason. Because if you scrap it, it may affect so many other things.
Okay. Then that also brings me to this question. I want to ask Barrister Bashiru. When the fuel subsidy was removed, when it was announced, and then a lot of people were of the opinion that, the presidency did not make plans. They didn't make plans so that at least Nigerians wouldn't have to suffer so much, with a lot of things that people said. Now, the report has been brought to be implemented. What do you think are the measures that the government should actually take to mitigate the repercussions on citizens? I mean, people will lose their jobs. And with the way Nigeria is right now, nobody would love to lose their jobs.
Well, I think he already said people will not lose their jobs.
Oh, people will not lose their jobs. But I still want you to answer the question. What do you think the government should actually put in place to make sure that the people that would lose their jobs, even though you said people will not lose their jobs, would at least not go through so much suffering and hardship that the country is going through already?
Okay, fine. You see, a responsive and responsible government will not, at a critical time like this, allow people to go to the streets after having lost their jobs. No. We're going to have more than we can cater for. So the job will not be lost. But there will be people who will be held very seriously responsible for whatever they earn, however little it is. They will be held very seriously accountable. So I do not see people losing their jobs. If we sell this domain to the public, we will set this country aflame. Because things are very, very difficult. And if what we are selling to the people about the implementation of Oronsaye Report is people are going to lose their job, then it is going to be too sensitive. In fact, we won't be able to curtail the outburst that we will receive from the public. In fact, if people should get to have this understanding while marching on the street today, then the police will have a whole lot of tasks in their hands. So the intention is not to get people off the work. No.
Okay.
Fewer people may lose their job. Fewer people may lose their job, especially people at the directorate level. Majority of those people at the directorate level may lose their job. But not those who are actually making the job to be done. Because those who are actually making the jobs to be done are the people at the government.
Yes.
These are the people you send around. And these are not the people who are stealing Nigerian money. These are not the people who are having direct contacts with the politician. No. So What the government certainly will have put in place is to ensure that those at the lower rung of the ladder are not particularly affected by this restructuring and this margin of parastatals and agencies. So what I sincerely believe is that if this is done, a lot of people go to offices today. I'm not talking about private business. A lot of people go to offices today, public offices today, and they will sleep from morning till night, or they will be selling things, running errands on their own, away from what they came to sign to do. It is high time we put a stop at this nonsense. It is becoming too large. It is becoming too heavy for the government to bear.
All right, then if I understand you clearly, you're trying to solve the problem of civil servants going to work to sell ashwebi and sell
their own business,
melons, and do other things, doing their own businesses. So those that are redundant will have to, be shown the way out, and those that know the job will be given the responsibility of doing the job. Oh well, this conversation will obviously continue into the coming days until the mergers are completed and agencies that will be scrapped are scrapped. But in the meantime, let's look at another issue now. Now, Trade Union Congress has asked the president to order the importation of food items within 2 weeks, all in a bid to cushion the effect of the hardship in the country after withdrawing from the planned protest, of course. Well, the planned protest, we'll keep our eyes to the ground and our ears, I beg your pardon, keep our ears to the ground and let you know if the protest has started or where it is taking place. But in the meantime, let's talk about the position of TUC, and that will be after this break. We'll be back in a bit. Stay with us, Barrister. Stay with us, Mr. Lawal. Stay with us, Nigerians. We'll be back in a bit.